Sam Bowie was really good, but by the time they drafted him, they'd missed 2 full years, he'd been redshirted twice. To me, it's more of a what if.
Hey guys, this is Dominique Wilkins.
Hey, this is Sean Kemp.
This is Gary Payton.
Hey, this is Pau Gasol.
NBA fans, what's up? This is Vince Carter here.
Hey, what's up? This is Matt Barnes. If you're an old school NBA fan like I am, make sure you check out the Basketball Time Machine with my man Sean David.
Hey folks, how's it going? Welcome back to the Basketball Time Machine. My name is Sean David. Thanks for tuning in. In today's episode, I want to take a look at the career of Sam Bowie, the guy that was drafted before Michael Jordan, and how this basically destroyed his entire NBA career. This and of course the injuries. But before we dive into today's episode, let me ask you guys for a small favor. Please subscribe to the channel and also like the video if you enjoy the content. Alright, enough said, let's do it. So where do we start? I would say let's go back right to the beginning of Sam Bowie's college career. Sam Bowie, a player that was so skilled, a player that was supposed to be the face of the Portland Trail Blazers for many years to come, a player that will never ever be forgotten simply because of one reason: Michael Jordan. If we take a look at his college career, it's easy to say that when he played for Kentucky, he was an immediate college superstar. A talented big man that looked and played different than all the other bigs in the league. In only his second season, he would average 18 points and 9 rebounds per game and was considered to be one of the best players in college basketball. He played for the Olympic team and outshined all of his teammates.
Special event. A team of Olympians take on the NBA All-Stars.
I was just as excited to play against these pros as going over and representing our country. It was a nice consolation.
They talk about Secretariat and Seattle Slew, but that is a thoroughbred in Kentucky.
He has a certain level of confidence, a certain swagger.
Michael Brooks is going to take the shot, and it's followed by Bowie. Look out, Southeastern Conference.
He really was just the marquee player on the team.
You better chalk this kid up. He's a bona fide first rounder.
To this day, I remember Coach Brown. He said, "I've coached these guys. You're better than these pros."
People were 100% sure that this kid would be a future NBA superstar. I mean, this guy had it all: the size, the movement, the post game, quickness, you name it. But then one night, something would happen that in hindsight would destroy his entire basketball career.
The game was coming easy to me. I was putting up some good numbers, maybe 18 points a game. It was a mortal lock that I was going to the pros as soon as this next month of college basketball is over.
Turner against Verderber. Into the lane, that's Young. Blocked by Bowie. The Bowie now has 61 blocks. There's the lob, and there's the dunk. And he takes a heck of a spill.
When I threw the alley-oop, you could see all his weight come down on that one leg.
He took a spill against Vanderbilt. We didn't know it was serious at the time.
I tried to play it off, but there was something lingering going on down in my tibia area.
But it didn't stop him from playing right away.
I couldn't really express myself because I knew I wanted to get to the pros.
They wanted him to get an x-ray. He kind of fought him off, that he'd be okay. It went on for a week. And he was practicing. You gotta remember, he was practicing.
Little did I know that was the beginning of what they call a stress fracture.
The injury was so bad that Sam had to sit out 2 entire seasons. And when he finally returned 2 years later, he played 34 college games, also put up some decent numbers, but he was clearly not the same player. It looked like he lost a lot of his mobility and even more of his confidence. Still, there was no question that he should make it to the NBA. But which team would actually draft him? Would there really be a team that believed that Bowie would gain back his speed, his mobility, and his confidence? The 1984 NBA draft class was at that time considered to be one of the deepest ever. So many potential All-Stars and Hall of Famers would actually made it to the NBA in 1984. Hakeem Olajuwon was clearly the number 1 pick. Why? Because at that time, every team was looking for the best big man. A good center would automatically guarantee to make the playoffs. And this is where the drama would actually begin.
I was at Kentucky when I was introduced to a guy named Stu Inman. He was affiliated with the Portland Trail Blazers. I knew they had a nightmare of experience with Bill, with his physical issues with his feet. I was looked upon kind of in the same breath as a Bill Walton.
Stu Inman was a close friend of mine, their general manager. And I remember him confiding in me that all the reports are good and it looks solid. We've done our homework. You know, we feel that he's going to hold up, that it's going to be a good gamble.
We were aware that Sam had a significant leg injury at the University of Kentucky. We did a very comprehensive exam, including maximum stress test on the treadmill. Sam went through that physical with flying colors.
And I can still remember them taking a little mallet, and when they would hit me on my left tibia, and I don't feel anything I would tell them, but deep down inside, it was hurting. If what I did was lying, if what I did was wrong, at the end of the day, when you have loved ones that have some needs, I did what any of us would have done.
We felt comfortable, despite those problems, that he would be a legitimate pick and that he'd have a career in the NBA.
It would be Olajuwon if we won the flip, and it would be Bowie if we didn't.
And it was Sam Bowie.
Selects Sam Bowie, University of Kentucky. Sam Bowie, the young man who came back from a stress fracture injury, the left shin bone. He was out for 2 seasons, redshirted, and he has come back. He has returned strong.
When Sam Bowie entered the NBA, at first it looked like the Blazers drafted a solid player. For a rookie, Bowie put up some solid numbers. He averaged 10 points and 9 rebounds per game. He started in most of the games, and the Blazers would be an above 500 team. But even though Bowie performed solidly, there was one major problem. The guy that was drafted before Bowie, a guy with the name of Michael Jordan, would average 28 points per game and would be the most spectacular and most exciting rookie of the 1980s. Michael Jordan would not only make the All-Star team in his rookie season, but also become one of the most popular players the NBA has ever seen. While Hakeem Olajuwon was also incredible in his first season with the Rockets, slowly but surely people started to question if the Blazers made a mistake in drafting Sam Bowie ahead of Michael Jordan.
Sam's going to be all right. Sam will help us.
I wouldn't say I was discouraged, but I wasn't elated either.
The man's going to lead us to the promised land, no doubt about it. You people back in Lexington, thanks.
4-on-2, great for the Portland. Bowie takes it home from Drexler.
I remember Sam stayed healthy for the better part of that season. He showed everybody his all-around skills, that this guy was legit. He's a complete player.
That's deep.
He was a joy to play with because he was somebody that played right along with everybody, and you could see the potential, you could see the talent.
Not since Bill Walton has a center attracted so much attention in Portland as has Sam Bowie. And if he can continue at his current rate of improvement, all the talk of Michael Jordan may finally be put to rest.
Unfortunately, this would never happen. In only his second season, Bowie would get injured so badly that he could only play 38 out of 82 games. Only one season later, he returned just to get injured right away, which meant he would only play 5 games. Then he would sit out for an entire season in 1987. And from that point onwards, everybody laughed at the Blazers for drafting Bowie ahead of Jordan. MJ was the best player in the NBA by now, while Sam could hardly make it onto the court. In 1987, Sam played for the New Jersey Nets, and even with all the injuries, he showed that he could play while he was averaging 15 points per game. But by then, it was already too late, and nobody cared about Sam anymore. He was already the guy who should never been drafted ahead of Michael Jordan.
But anytime you mention my name, it's because of the Jordan draft. It's because of all the fractures, and it's kind of nice to see some highlights of when I was healthy and could play the game. It's a unique situation because many think that that's the greatest player to ever play the game, so therefore whoever gets drafted this year, next year, the following year, it's not like they're getting picked before a guy like Michael Jordan. He might not ever come around again. Well, it's been a few years since I've seen Mike, but every time I see Michael, I tell him if he would have never turned out to be the player he was, I wouldn't have to hear all this ridicule about being drafted before him.
Now, the sad part is, if we're not talking about Michael Jordan, but just the skill set of Sam Bowie, he definitely could have been one of the best centers of all time. I mean, in his first 2 college seasons, he proved that he had the potential to be an NBA superstar. So I don't want to remember Sam Bowie just because of being the guy that was drafted before Michael Jordan, but one of the biggest what-ifs in NBA history. All right, you guys, that was it for today's episode. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you next time on the Basketball Time Machine.